This is how to change eye color in Lightroom. I'm just going to click the auto button so we can get into changing eye color. Next, let's go over here to the masking tab, and then we'll choose the brush option. I can increase the size of my brush by scrolling forward on my mouse, and I can decrease it by scrolling backwards. The solid line of my brush indicates the main part of my brush. However, if I hold Shift and scroll forward and backward, you can see that there's a secondary line. That's the fall off. I'm going to increase my brush size until it covers over the iris and pupil, and then I'm going to decrease the fall off quite a bit. Next, I'm going to click. You can see where my brush stroke is this faded red color. And that's because the flow over here is set to 50%. So whatever modification we're doing will only happen at 50%. I'm going to increase the flow to 100%. I'll bring my brush back over this eye and decrease the size, and then brush in the center of the eye to make sure that my change is around 100%. Now that I have that 100% opacity, I'm going to come over to the color tab and open that up. And then I'll come here to the hue. And if I drag the hue over, you can see that it doesn't go very quickly. So I'll untick Use Fine Adjustments. This will allow me to move the hue much faster, and I'll rotate the hue around until I get a color that I like, maybe something like this green. Next, I can adjust the saturation if I want the saturation to be very intense or very muted. I think something like this looks pretty good. If I want to see the before and after, I can come up to my mask pop-out window and turn the mask on and off to see what the color was. But I'm noticing two problems. The first problem is that the highlights in the eye have also changed color. And the second problem is that my mask went out of the iris onto her eyelid. So to get rid of that, I'm going to decrease my fallout by holding Shift and scrolling my mouse wheel back. Then I will hold the Alt key. And you can see when I hold Alt, the plus sign in the center of my brush turns to a minus sign. And I will go ahead, subtract away from the mask that fell onto her eyelid. Next, I'll zoom in by hitting Command plus, and then I'll move over by holding the space bar and left mouse button clicking. And I will decrease my brush size by keeping the fall off the same. And then I will hold Alt, and I will just go ahead and erase around this mask here. I may need to decrease my brush size even more for these smaller details. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'll come down to the bottom of my window and click Fit. And now we can take a look at before and after. This has been how to change eye color in Lightroom. If you would like to see a similar tutorial like this in Raw Therapy or Darktable, please leave a comment down below. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.